Hello and welcome to Dugout Daily. I'm Charlie and I'm joined by Bernard. How are you, mate?
I'm fine, Charlie. How are you? Are we all well after last night's happy result?
Yeah, all good, mate. We'll get straight into it. 6-1 win last night in the Carabao Cup against Wycombe. Thoughts on the performance?
You've got to praise the young lads, haven't you? I mean, five debutants. He certainly threw us a wobbler, didn't he, Pep, with that one? I must admit, I was looking for I was trying to think of which couple of experienced defenders would he stick in to compensate. But hey, I thought it was a genius stroke because obviously these guys are used to playing with each other, aren't they, at the back? So obviously they're used to each other. So I never even thought of that. I mean, I'm 62, and obviously that's why Pep gets paid the big money, I suppose. You realise these guys would do a job as a unit because that's obviously what they're used to playing as a unit, and all credit to them. And I think we got a great game because of it. And he'll say we looked quite. It was hard to tell the difference between a sort of first 11 and a half under 21 team and a first 11. It was they just all meshed together, didn't they? I thought it was an excellent game overall for any neutral watcher as well. I just thought it was some good football played last night.
Yeah, big up Ankit and Anthony in the chat as well. We'll go through player by player, starting with the keeper, Zach Steffen. How do you think he played?
I'll tell you what, I was for the first. I'm not a big Stefan fan. I'll be honest with you. I used to be a bit of a keeper, and obviously not up to the levels of these guys, obviously. But I've never overly been impressed with Zach Steffen. But I think last night I think he instilled confidence in the lads at the back as well. I thought he was superb in the same way KDB. We'll talk about him later. Instilled confidence in his part of the pitch. I think Steffen did with the defence. All right, we'll let a goal in, but I mean that was just a well worked goal in the end. We just didn't clear our lines, but I was quite impressed with Steph last night. I thought he used his experience, which he's not an old lad, is he? He's not, but compared to the guys in front of him, and I think the defenders were just far more confident having Stefan behind him because he wasn't manic, he wasn't doing anything silly, he was just a controlling influence. I was quite impressed with him.
Yeah. Ankit says how many from last night will feature against Chelsea this weekend? I'd probably say around 5 or 6. I'd say De Bruyne, Foden, Mahrez, Torres, and Sterling.
I would say 2. I would say Foden and KDB. I'm not overly sure. Mahrez, Torres, and Sterling. Well, I don't think it'll be either Torres or Jesus. I think based on last night, I would prefer Jesus because obviously Torres didn't have the greatest game. Again, we'll get to him obviously in a bit, but I only think there'll be 2 of that team starting against Chelsea.
Yeah. On to the back 4 then, starting with the right back, his first of many debuts. CJ Egan-Riley. How do you think he played?
Well, I think of the guys who were playing, I think he was the least that I knew about, and I was quite lucky. I was in the south stand, so they defended our end, which is unusual in the first half. They usually defend at the other end, so it gave me time to have a look at the numbers. So at least I was looking at numbers and knowing who players were. And I think, like most of the lads, he started a bit tentatively. They were okay, but he sort of grew into it, and you certainly wouldn't disparage him on his display. I mean, if you were marking him, it was good, standard, solid display at right back.
Yeah. The 2 centre backs then, starting with another debutant, Finlay Burns. Number 94, how do you think he played?
Yeah, well, I think if you look at I think it's been said, he's one of these that's willing to carry the ball out, isn't he? Like Stones, and obviously what Pep likes, he's a sort of Pep sort of player, isn't he? He's confident enough to do that, and he did that. And I was watching these lads carefully, and apart from the goal, I found very few of them passing incorrect. I think 91% pass completion last night, which is up there with the first team. That's up there with the best of what the first team does. And these young lads, including Finlay Burns, he was sort of hitting his man every time. I didn't see any problems whatsoever. I thought of the centre backs, he was possibly the best of the 2, and he had a great little game.
Yeah. And his centre back partner, Luke Mbete,
Oh yeah, sorry, yeah, he did have a good game. Yeah, but I forgot about I probably should have said Mbeti had the better game. I thought he was excellent. I think he was of the young lads, of the 5 young lads who started the game. I think Mbeti just didn't look out of place against. All right, he's playing League One. Let's not forget we're playing League One, but obviously the big lads, and as a central defender against the Wycombe's big lads up front. No, yeah, it was excellent. It was of the 5 that played last night. I thought Mbeti just looked steady, and I certainly wouldn't be worried about him being put into a Premier League game. Perhaps not against Chelsea, but someone else further down the line.
Yeah, I don't know if it was just me as well, but he reminded me a little bit of Vincent Kompany.
Yeah,
just the way.
It was just confidence as well. He just to say he's only young. I'm not sure. I think he was perhaps one of these slightly older lads of the young lads, but it is that confidence level. You can just see it, and I think that's what worked, because as I said, with the 5 guys who worked together before, obviously it showed. It just did show a confidence on the pitch. As I say, we're all right. Just no disrespect to Wycombe, we're playing a League One team, but not easy to play, not easy to defend against these big physical teams, and he certainly didn't look out of place.
Yeah. And onto the left back, Josh Wilson-Brand, another debutant. How do you think he played?
He was another bit like Egan Riley. He sort of grew into it as it went on, and then you could see him doing his up that left wing. I think a lot of people, a lot of pundits are saying he's the ideal left back coming in. But the trouble is, he's probably got 2 or 3 years yet before we see him on a regular basis. Can we wait that long for a left back? I'm not too sure, but he's a bit more of the old mould, isn't he? I think he can defend, but he's quite comfortable going up as well, which I saw a lot of him down that left-hand side in the second half, particularly where he came more and more, I think, up that wing when City were dominating, and but he was still able to get back as a left back. I don't know where. I've not seen him before. That's my first view of him, and I was quite impressed.
Yeah. Onto the midfield, starting with Romeo Lavia. How do you think he played?
Well, I've heard words like Fernandino-esque and all this sort of thing, and well, this is the role he was playing last night, wasn't it? I mean, obviously you're in front of that back 4, and he perhaps doesn't know quite how to sort of do the tackles without getting booked for them yet. He's not quite learned that skill that Ferner's definitely got. We all know Ferner's got that ability to smile and get away with things that others wouldn't. So he's got to learn that side of it. But at his age, I'm sure that will come. And as long as Ferner's there, he can learn off the best, can't he? But hey, no, he was again. It was only Mbeti, I think, was a better player on the night than perhaps Lavia. Certainly in the role he played as well, a very important role, especially in Pep's teams. Let's be honest about it; it's a very, very important role. And there's some other guys who haven't quite succeeded in doing it yet, but Lavia didn't do a bad job, did he?
No, definitely not. So as you can tell by the lineup, the defence was mostly academy players. Onto the attack were basically all first team players, starting with the captain on the night, De Bruyne. Got the first goal. How do you think he played?
Well, I think with Kevin, what impressed me more with KDB, I think he's been taken out of this captain's thing, hasn't he, with the team? They've sort of been dropped out of it, and some papers made a big thing of it. It's always special, but to me, he's never really been captain material. He's always better doing his own thing. I think it's too much responsibility for him, and I don't think he's capable of doing that. But last night, he's again in the same way that Stefan did at the back. KDB just totally. He just inspired the guys around him. His coolness, and he's willing to tell people what to do and applaud people in a way or whatever if they do things right and correct. And I thought it was a real captain's performance. It wasn't fantastic, don't get me wrong, as in playing, he wasn't brilliant, but as in a captain's role, I think he did. That's the best I've seen him as a captain. I think having the young lads there, I think brought the best out of KDB, and he got a goal as well, so you can't argue with that. But obviously, he was outshone by another experienced player, which we'll talk about in a minute. But no, I was quite impressed with KDB, and he got the minutes, didn't he? He got a full game in, and someone said, "Why is he playing?" Well, so to be honest with you, I'd rather him break down last night than break down after 20 minutes against Chelsea. So I saw no reason why he shouldn't be. They wouldn't be playing if he didn't think he was fit. So people on Twitter saying this is ridiculous. I can't see that. He needs the minutes, and obviously if he is going to break down, he's just as likely to break down if we saved him last night and into the game at Chelsea. So I think it's wonderful, and hopefully he's come through it okay. And as I say, it was a real captain's performance last night from KDB. I was very, very impressed.
Yeah. Onto his midfield partner, got I believe 2 goals and an assist, or it was 1 goal and 2 assists. Phil Foden, how do you think he played?
He loved it, didn't he? I think Phil playing, well, they're not his age, they're a bit younger, but I think, again, he's another one who stepped up and accepted full responsibility. This is the sort of role I want other players to make when, say, KDB's not playing. This is the sort of role I want Gundogan to take on when KDB's not in the team, where they take responsibility, and Foden did that, all right. He's not had much game time, so he probably loved the fact he could get involved and get on the pitch and play the game. That's because he loves playing football. We know he does. You have to drag him off the pitch for training and stuff like that. But again, I think he was just an inspiration. I think playing with those young lads, I think it just brought an extra dimension to him. And all right, again, people get a little bit carried away, but obviously, you can only do what you can do with who we're playing. We can't. You can only beat what we can beat, can't we? So people are getting a bit over the top, but of course he'll play against Chelsea. If he doesn't start against Chelsea, there's something wrong. He was absolutely superb, and of course it won't do his confidence any harm anyway. Certainly after this sort of stop-start to the season he's had, or he's not really had a start, has he? This is probably the first time we've seen him back again. So yeah, I think he loved it, and I think he was will we go on to the man of the match later?
Yeah, we will. Then.
I mean, there's 2 or 3 in my man of the match, and obviously, Phil Foden would have been considered for that. I thought it was excellent last night, and as I say, a nice goal as well. I'm not too sure whether the goalie perhaps could have done better with it, but he hit the target, and that's all I ask of my City players. Especially our midfielders who are not goal scorers, just at least make the goalkeeper do something. And if it goes through him or he messes it up, you've got a chance of getting a goal. And I hate it when we blast over and all that sort of thing. So yeah.
Sorry against Southampton on Saturday. Well,
that's it. It's not good. It's not. I like when Cancelo scored that goal the other week, a couple of games ago. I mean, it's just hit the target. If you blast over, which he has a tendency to do, and another player, Gundogan, did the same. Not in this game, in other games, but that's all you have to do. At least hit the target. So you taught that at school. You may have, I don't know. It's a long time since I've been at school. You've been there not long ago, but that's what we taught at school. Just make sure you hit the target, because it can go through a goal, it can rebound, it can do anything. But I think that's all we can ask. And to say, great goal. Okay, goalie could have done better, perhaps, but he did what he had to do. Yeah, he had a great game, Foden. No quibbles there.
I think with the goal, it moved at the last second, so it caught the keeper off guard.
Yeah, he was sort of going a different way, wasn't he? Sort of going to one way and the other, and I thought he sort of lost the flight of it, which can happen in night games as well with the floodlight, the lights and stuff like that. You see, I think I've played in one floodlit game in my whole life, so I can't really comment, but I think that does have an effect.
Yeah. On to the front three, starting with Riyad Mahrez. How do you think he played?
Well, if he hadn't scored the 2 goals, he got 2 goals. Did he get 2 goals? I think that
2 goals.
The 5th goal, I think, I was right behind that, and he appeared to scuff it. Although when you watch it on replay, it does look like a good goal as though he placed it, but he did seem to scuff it a bit. But apart from those 2 goals, I thought he was pretty bang average, and I'm being kind at bang average. Apart from those 2, but he can, if you score 2 goals in a game and you bang average, I'm happy with that. But he has a tendency, doesn't he? I mean, what surprised me before the season, these friendly games we played, he was brilliant. And now he's not usually very good in those sort of games. He doesn't usually do any. And this is the same problem last night. He's never that great against so-called weaker teams, I don't think. He doesn't impose himself as he perhaps should do for a guy of his class. And he has got class, of course he has. And I think he had the same problem last night, just imposing himself. I think he was... But as I said, if he hadn't got those 2 goals, he would have had an awful game. But that sort of saved him a bit. But I don't think he worked himself into Pep's plans for the Chelsea game. And whether he'll sulk or he'll actually act in a positive way and work harder, I'm not too sure. Not too sure what to expect. But I wasn't overly impressed with Mahrez, as I say. But not great. But score 2 goals, I'll take that every day of the week.
Definitely. Yeah. On to Ferran Torres. How do you think he played?
Yeah, it's another one of those games, wasn't it? He never quite got up to it. He had a nice tap in, which is great. Again, he scored a goal, but again, that was much about it. It works hard in the same way when Jesus is struggling. Jesus works hard, and Torres does, but I don't think Torres is as much of a pain as Jesus can be when he's working hard. I think Torres sort of drifts in and out a little bit more. And the thing is, he's young. He's not, he's a Spanish international. Let's face it, he's a Spanish international. This guy, so I do expect like. Mahrez, I do expect a little bit more of him, even though he is young. I mean, he don't play for Spain because he's, out of sympathy. He plays for Spain because he's got talent. So I would have expected a bit more from him last night. But again, he scored a goal. If you can have another like Mahrez, if you can have an average game and score, fair enough if you're there to tap it in. But a bit disappointed. I was a bit disappointed again with Ferran Torres, but I think he's still learning. He's got a lot of learning to do. But as I say, I do expect full internationals perhaps do a little bit better.
Yeah. And the final starter, Raheem Sterling. How do you think he played?
Well, yeah, I said on that. You've heard of give and go we used to call it give and go in the old days.
Yeah.
I think the thing I'm obviously Pep must know, the coaches must know. I'm no coach myself, but I think his lack of confidence. What I would do if I was Sterling, I would get the ball because he's quite comfortable on the ball, and I would sort of create a little bit of space where he can move it on very quickly and then sort of give and go and get into another space. I think the fact he's carrying it isn't working for him at the moment. Now, as I said, I'm sure our coaches and Pep knows this, but obviously he keeps putting him in and he keeps having, again, last night, a bang average game, did lots of work, 110%, don't get me wrong, but he's just not working. So to me, I'd rather see him picking up the ball, moving it, looking for a player to play it off and then moving back into space again and stuff like that. I'd rather him not be carrying it as much as he is. I think every time he gets it, as though he has to do something spectacular, and he doesn't. You don't have to do that. Go back to simple stuff. And as I say, Pep must know, the coaches must know, so there must be something there that I'm missing. But that, in my opinion, that's all he has to do now, just to get himself. In the old days, you used to have reserve teams, and these guys used to be able to go and play for the reserve teams if they were quite out, and then practice things and do things. He hasn't got that ability. So if he's not starting, which let's face it, on this form, I mean, he shouldn't be starting, but he's not getting the chance or ability to do it elsewhere. So Pep's hoping in these sort of games, because I knew he'd play. I definitely knew he was going to play in this game. But there's no way on earth I can imagine him starting the next 3 games. So, I mean, that's what he's hoping, that he'll suddenly hit a bit of form. But I think that's what he's got to do. I think Sterling himself, there's something up there, I think, at the moment. It's been a long time now. It's not just an odd game, is it? Let's be honest about it. It's been perhaps a season and a half on and off now. So, it's something he's doing. I think that's personally, if I ever sort of said to him, have a try of this, but I say, I'm sure there's cleverer guys at City know what the problem is and try and solve it. But obviously, it doesn't seem to be working at the moment. But I'd do the give and go with Sterling. I'd say, look, mate, pick it up, look for a space, find another player, then move on. Pass it on and move on and play it like that. I say, but what do I know? I haven't got a clue really, have I?
On to the subs. First up, Cole Palmer got his first goal for City last night. Hopefully the first of many.
Absolutely. I mean, he's I like Cole. I mean, I've seen Cole Palmer. Obviously, we saw him pre-season, didn't we? And he's one of City's best players. And I was a bit surprised he was on the bench. I thought obviously we'd have a bit more experience in defence. Cole Palmer would start in midfield, but obviously with that back 5. I think Pep went the opposite, didn't he? He went for an inexperienced back lot and an experienced front lot. So that's why Cole Palmer didn't get a game, because obviously he didn't want an inexperienced midfielder in there as such. But what a player. I think he's a great little player, and I think he's got so much talent. That great, again, a good goal. Again, I'm not saying the keeper was 100% on it, but, he hit the target and he killed it in that corner. Great goal. And he was on for about half an hour, and I didn't see anything to sort of knock back my opinion that he's a very, very good young player and has got plenty, as you said, he's got plenty to come yet in the future, I think, hopefully with City.
Yeah, definitely. And the second sub, another debutant, James McAtee. How do you think he played?
Well, again, he's shown up pretty well, hasn't he, pre-season? And again, he's another one, as I said, because of the circumstances. He would have normally got a start, I think, under Pep, if he didn't have so many injuries, etc., to the experienced guys. But again, similar to Cole Palmer, I've been very impressed with James McAtee. And again, I think he was asked to play a left back, was he, when he came on last night? So I didn't see much. He was up the other end from where I was, but. Yeah, I'm sure I wouldn't mark him because he wasn't on long enough, but he's another great prospect. He might be, perhaps to me, one of these that gets loaned out somewhere for a season or two, then comes back, and does really well. But yeah, it's just one of so that was 7 youngsters last night, wasn't it? If you think about it, even Foden's a youngster, really, isn't he? Certainly to me. Yeah. But no, I like McAtee as well. He was a good player to bring on. That's the thing. He's good to have on the bench, and the fact he brought him on rather than some of the experienced guys just on the bench like Jesus and everything, all these other guys, speaks volumes, I think.
Yeah. On to the manager, Pep. How do you think he did last night?
Brilliant. As I say, brilliant. I don't think it was... I try and see how animated it. I used to have a Pep watch a couple of seasons ago. I used to have a bit of fun with that and see what his mindset was. But I think he'll be pretty... I tell you what, he should be obviously congratulate himself as last night, because he got it totally right for the team we were playing, for the lads he put in. As I said, that I don't think there's any City fan that went, "Oh yeah, I was expecting that. Yeah, I knew that was good. Yeah, definitely that was the 11 I picked." You know, I got 3. I picked an 11 out for my preview thing I do, and I got 3. I got 3 right out of 11, which is the worst ever I've ever done. So I don't. If any City fan says they saw that coming, the lying, basically, and it worked. Absolutely worked for the. Obviously, let's hope for a bit of magic over the next 3 games. But it certainly worked for last night, and he knew what he was doing. Let's be honest about it, and that's possibly one of his best tactical teams I've seen him play for a while. I won't forgive him the Champions League final, but obviously based on last night, I'll sort of I'll knock a little bit of the forgiveness sort of has gone up after that team last night, because I think he just did it right, didn't he? He was just spot on with what he did. He just absolutely perfect. So, as you say, even when we went 1-0 down, I don't think we were that worried about it. Of course, it was a blow, but saying he's not going to panic, is he? Pep doesn't make any changes, so he was quite confident that the 11 he had out on the pitch would do the job, and he was proven right, of course.
Yeah. On to our opponents then, Wycombe. How do you think they played?
Yeah, I think they did all right. I mean, the struggle is with Wycombe. They've got Wigan and Sunderland, I think, top 2 in their Division 1 at the moment. But they should be able to get into the playoffs. I mean, they're quite capable, of getting into the playoffs. They seem okay. Obviously, I used to watch this Akim Fenwer guy on sorry if I pronounce his name wrong, but I used to watch him a lot on when there used to be a channel doing all the championship games and Division 1 and 2 games. I used to watch him quite a lot. I used to quite like him. I used to thought he was all right. I didn't like him last night. I thought it was horrible. I thought it was something I used to watch. I used to play against on the parks in the Sunday League when I used to play football at weekends. No disrespect to him, but he's 39. So I think they need a little bit something else as well, because I think they're going to have a sustained challenge to get out of that division. I'm sure this is his last season, I would imagine. I've not heard whether it is or not. It's got to be, hasn't it, surely, at 39. Yeah. And he's not very mobile, obviously. He wasn't very mobile last night, to be honest with you. He did all right, don't get me wrong, but he is a bit of a bully. He is a bit of a bully because he's a big lad, so he's bound to be a bit of a bully. But I think if they've got someone else lined up, I think they'll be all right. But I think they should hit the playoffs, Wycombe. But as I say, they were physical, but they weren't overly physical. I mean, they're going to be out. They're playing a Premier team, so they're going to try and kick us a little bit, which is how it is. It's a man's game at the end of the day, so you expect a little bit of that. Sometimes it's just a little bit over the top, certainly from the big guy up front. But yeah, I think they'll be all right. I think they'll get the playoffs. I mean, whether they'll be good enough then to obviously get into the championship is another matter. I mean, the championship, I think, again, is perhaps just another level up, isn't it, from what I saw from Wycombe last night? I think. But at least they could get there, as I say. But with Sunderland and Wigan, I don't think them two are going to be ousted from the top of the division. But I think they'll be all right. I think they'll make the playoffs, and then it's anything can happen, can't it, once they do that?
Yeah, definitely. On to the referee then. How do you think he did?
I didn't like. I can't remember his name now. Is it Robert? No, I can't remember. Anyway, he's not. He's not a familiar. Is he? He must be a Championship referee, League One referee. Is he? I've
Yeah.
not seen him much in the Premier League anyway. But I wasn't overly impressed, to be honest. He seemed to let things sort of slide that perhaps shouldn't. But I mean, I'll be honest with you, I don't see any different from Premier League refs. They're all, are all much the same. If you say to me such and such is a ref this week, I don't ever say, "Oh, that's wonderful." I mean, I don't think we ever do. Let's be honest about it. They're all pretty much of a sameness, and I wasn't overly impressed. But as I say, is perhaps no worse or no better than some of the guys we have to put up with week in and week out in the Premier League anyway. So it is what it is. There's no VAR, was there? So you had to rely on the linesman and stuff like that, getting the stuff right, which I think probably they did. I've not watched the game back, but there's no real dodgy decisions, was there? So all credit to him. It's I can watch a game and actually not have to worry about, not that worried anyway last night, but have to worry about something being scrubbed off the VAR. It's just nice to do that. I think sometimes it's nice to just check the linesman's not put his flag up, and if he's not put his flag up, it's a goal more or less. 99% of the time. So that's how it should be. I perhaps wish it was like that again, but hey, we can't go back, can we? We're stuck with it now, unfortunately.
Yeah. On to the fans then. How do you think they were last night?
Yeah, I'm not sure the crowd. I mean, I'd imagine, I don't know what, 24, 5 at 6, or 26,000. I thought, I mean, the Wycombe fans were pretty good first half. I stand next to them. They were pretty good first half, but I think they must have had some sleep in drafting the drinks at half time, because as City fans, if we're getting beat, we're usually louder. That's just how we used to be. That's how we are now. Certainly away from home, perhaps not so much at home, but certainly away from home. So we would have been really up for it for that second half. And they were just very, very quiet, and we outsang them, I think, that second half over City fans. So the guys who were there, I think, again, the atmosphere, I think this season so far with the 3 or 4 home games we've had has been pretty good. And I think this rail seats has probably helped, although obviously we always stand up in the singing section. We always have done. Yeah. But I think the rail seats sort of make the other people a bit further along, I think it makes them do a little bit more, and I think the atmosphere is a bit louder. I get some sort of noise more to my left now. I never used to get where I stand. It wasn't usually noisy to the left of me, but there seems to be a bit more noise from there now. So, yeah, I mean, considering the crowd, all right, it wasn't bouncing, it wasn't fun, brilliant. It wasn't Hamburg. It wasn't Hamburg at home, if you ever remember that one. But no, all credit to the Wycombe fans for making it. I think their average crowd's 4,000 to 5,000, and they brought about 2,500 last night. All credit to them. We had a bit of fun at their expense. Some young lads are a bit leery with them, like the V's and slagging them off. But it's football, it's banter, isn't it? But no, I was quite impressed with the atmosphere and the fans last night, despite, say, it only being probably mid-20s crowd. It might be more than that. I don't know. I know I don't think there's any third tiers open, was there? I can't see the one behind me in the south stand, but
it was only Wycombe fans in the south stand.
So all the third tiers, apart from a few hundred Wycombe fans in that top tier. So yeah, for the size, I mean, I think they asked Pep, didn't they? Did they ask Pep about the crowd? Did something said? I saw something in news. He said he thanked them for coming or something like that. But
I saw that.
I mean, they're trying to stir it before, though. I mean, I saw a report. Was it Daily Star a couple of days before? Pep prepares for the worst crowd ever. Empty seat. Behave yourselves, you know what I mean? But they're just trying to stir trouble. And the guys that went last night, and if you couldn't get there, there's lots of reasons. Of course there is, but I think Wycombe and City fans get a pretty good atmosphere last night for a game, and that's not always the case in these early League Cup rounds. We play a lot away. I'd rather play away because obviously I think it's a little bit better, but it's a bit. We do tend to get a few away games. We don't, but this is unusual to get a home game in the league in the Carabao Cup. I don't think we've had that many over recent seasons, to be honest with you, when we've played a so-called smaller team. But no, I'm quite happy with the atmosphere at the moment this year. It's been the best for me personally, even though we've not played any massive teams. It's been the best, Arsenal, but I mean, Arsenal.
They're just rubbish now.
I think it's been good. I think it's been good. I said it might be something to do with the rail seats. I don't know, but I think it's the fact we're getting slagged off. City fans are always good if we're getting slagged off. We're always good at bouncing back. So, it's like when we're rubbish, we're better as fans when we're rubbish. So obviously we're not going to be rubbish now or anytime soon. So we take the criticism and then I think we thrive off it. We drink it in and move on and produce. We get better, I think, as fans if we get stick. So I think that's a good thing, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. On to man of the match. Who would you give it to?
Yeah, just looking at my scores, I mean, Mbete and Foden and Finley Burns. Yeah, Burns got a high score as well. But of those three, obviously, I'd be tempted to give it the young lad, but you can't really, can you? Because, I mean, Foden's a young lad. And as I said, the fact he pulled up that, he sort of controlled things. He gave everyone else confidence. He worked hard. He did everything. He even outshone KDB as far as on the pitch last night. I think that's fair to say. So, for my personal man of the match, I would have to give it Foden, especially when he's not hardly played any minutes as well. This is the thing, and he just sort of never stopped, which he doesn't anyway, does he? But add to that some nice skills and his leadership qualities from Foden last night as well. So they're captains for the future. Obviously we've got Ruben Diaz in the lineup, haven't we, for a future captain? But I don't think we'd go far wrong with someone like Foden as a future captain of the team as well. I mean, he seems to have all the attributes, and he certainly has said he did that last night with the young players. You could see he took responsibility, and that's what you want from a captain in the same way KDB took responsibility last night. I think Foden can do that in the future as well, and certainly be a good number 2 to Ruben Diaz as a captain. Yeah. Obviously, hopefully they both stay with us a long time. But my man of the match, getting back to that. Yeah, I think it has to be Foden, I think, last night. Do you agree with that?
Yeah. With a goal and 2 assists as well. You can't really say it's not Foden.
Yeah.
On to the final question. There was other Carabao Cup fixtures last night. Brentford beat Oldham. Burnley beat Rochdale. Leeds won. Liverpool won. Preston won. QPR beat Everton, which is a shock. Southampton won. Stoke won and Sunderland won. There's more fixtures tonight as well, but who would you like in the next round?
I don't particularly want Liverpool. I'll leave them till later. Along. But I won't mind a sort of away game where we've got a chance of getting some tickets. We've got a chance of getting a few thousand tickets given us, So I mean, if that lot there, who've we got? Burnley would be all right. That's to say, we can get a few thousand for there, can't we? It's not too far to go.
Preston as well.
Well, Preston, yeah. I mean, obviously, I think we filled that end last time, didn't we? Is it 5,000 in that end at Preston that they have there? As I say, I don't particularly want Liverpool yet. I don't want them. I'd like to get QPR because I'm doing a thing on Stambols at the moment with the QPR guys. I'm trying to help them out with that. So that'd be nice to see if we got QPR. That'd be lovely, actually. That'd work out well. As Stambols, an ex-City player, you probably don't know. You're a bit young, but obviously they're trying to get a stand named after him at QPR. So I've been trying to do my small bit to help that anyway. So that'd be great. Actually, we could play QPR. It's a fantastic one. I never really thought of that. Obviously, did you say Sheffield United got through as well?
Southampton beat Sheffield United.
Right, okay. So Sheffield United would have been okay, wouldn't it? But Stoke got through. That's always a bit of a laugh going to Stoke. That'd be fun. That'd be. I do like. I've never had any trouble at Stoke. I know a few people have, but I do like it to Stoke. Sunderland. Yeah, Sunderland's not a bad one. Again, bit of a pain on a night game, but I don't mind playing away in the League Cup. At least to say, if you play one of the so-called bigger teams, if you like, or people like Sunderland who've got good capacities, you can get a few thousand there, can't you? Which is, even for a night game, you get a lot of City fans going up. So but let's face it, it's our cup, isn't it? We don't really worry about anyone yet, do we? Till it's our Carabao Cup. It's nobody else's. So I'm not worried too much about who we get. Just bring them on. If we get Liverpool, we get Liverpool. That's just one of those things. It'd be interesting to see. I think we'd probably both go strong, though, on that one, wouldn't we? Let's be honest about it.
Yeah. Just final question before we wrap it up. Where can we find you, mate?
Yeah, just on if you go onto Twitter, that's the easiest thing to do. Bernard Dineen at Charles Dineen, capital C, capital D. But if you put Bernard Dineen in any search engine, you usually find my vlogs on City, past and present. I do film and TV stuff as well. But if you put Bernard Dineen in any search engine, there's not many of me about, so obviously you'll find me very quickly. But the easiest way is just to give us a follow on Twitter at Charles Dineen. And we'll get everything from there.
Yeah, big up yourself for coming on again, mate.
No, cheers, Charles. It's been great. Enjoyed it, mate.
Yeah. You can find me at MCFC Hibs on Twitter, Dugout Daily on YouTube. Make sure to check out all the Burn stuff as well. We're live later watching the Rags against West Ham.
Let's hope West Ham get revenge, eh? Let's have revenge for the weekend anyway.
Yeah, and then we've got the Carabao Cup 4th round draw after that, so we'll be watching that as well.
Oh, we'll get United, won't we, Dave? We'll get them. That's what'll happen. We'll get that's typical. We'll get United.
They'll want that later in the semi-final.
We do, but as long as it's at Old Trafford, we can't beat them at our place.
Yeah, we always beat them away, but they always beat us away.
It's one, I don't. Pep will have to get a grip of that if I'm going to fully forgive him.
Yeah, definitely. Big up everyone in the chat as well. Big up Bernard, and we'll see you all later. Take care and peace.
Bye-bye.